appears that we're all here. Public input? Hearing none. Old business, Moore's Falls.
Okay, the fence around the sinkhole is still up.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jeff, the road agent, checked on a gate for us so we could get rid of that chain.
Okay, at the top, right.
By the
Mhm.
kiosk.
Yeah,
And for about $250, you can get a gate and he'll install it from Tractor Supply.
from Tractor Supply.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Can the town pay for that?
yeah, we're the town.
Oh.
We have, well, we have to talk about amending our budget for the section, we have to amend that and another item down for,
Right, okay.
that's all I have on Morse.
Okay,
Falls.
Dare
Except
Pond.
They did, Morse Falls,
Yeah.
they did cut the, bottom olive at the top with that, brontosaurus cutter.
Right. Mhm. Now, they cut the land next door, up there, the
They
Du Bois
cut,
farming?
yeah,
Du Bois land? Mhm.
The horse farm, some of
Mhm.
it, yeah.
Dare Pond, milfoil.
Okay, I had an update on the grass carp. Is, the minutes so you can, you have
Thank you.
to. Has a different I have it. Okay, this is from, John McGee at Fish and Game. He says, my understanding, I had asked him about the grass carp. My understanding is that the process used to induce triploid, that's the grass carp, makes them sterile, is not always 100% effective. That is, sometimes some of the fish are diploid, can reproduce. Because of that, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service does not guarantee that grass carp are sterile. And he has the websites in there. He talks about this one site, Warm Springs, especially the second sentence of the paragraph under purpose. My interpretation of this is that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service does not guarantee that 100% of the fish are sterile. I note that I cannot find any language online in which the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service specifically states this, but it seems pretty obvious in the language they use, just my interpretation. Also, there is a sign at this website that has the word presumptive. This, it seems to indicate that there are no guarantees that every fish is sterile. For those reasons, we feel the risk outweighs the potential benefits, and Fish and Game Administrative rules make it a violation to put grass carp into any water body in New Hampshire.
Oh, and that's for forgiveness.
All right, we'll just spread a lot of poison on it.
Yeah.
Well, no,
That works better. Okay, we'll let Roger do some more research on that if he wants, and check your reference to the reference
I think
points.
we should get back in touch with them, Amy Smagula, whatever her name is, about the raking. I really think raking it out, especially around the beach area. And we'll see in the spring what happens around the rest where they did put the chemical herbicide.
Wasn't the
So
concern
what-
though
what-
with raking though, was about breaking it off?
No, just,
Well, I
it
don't know.
just reseeds itself the minute you break it off. I mean, it said in Nashua they tried it, it's ridiculous. The Nashua River, by the old mill where they're putting the new bridge through.
Yeah, but they had that, why, in Massabesic, they used the boat with the divers and the thing that harvested.
Mm-hmm. But they said that it's just, well, the rumors, I mean, I pick up from the guys that, been, you know, the fish up there and stuff, that it was better before they did the harvesting. Since they harvested, it's 3 times as thick as it ever was before. They multiplied.
But before they even did anything this year, by the beach was practically clear. And then somebody had said, that's because somebody's been raking it for a couple of years, raking it actually out of there.
Oh, really? That's interesting, yeah. Whatever.
You know, just out of curiosity, I wonder if there's any other type of fish or animal that we could use other than this carp.
Well, I know muskrats eat it.
Well, there we go.
Fill it with
We can
muskrats.
throw a
Could have
couple of
muskrat
those in
farm.
there.
Yeah.
They come out there and chomp on it all the time.
Well, the only other thing you could do would be to drain it.
Except it's spring fed.
Well, it'd be a little hard to, we'd have to have bigger pumps. We put on the ball fields.
Well, just tell Penchuck to turn the faucet on a little.
Yeah, that's right, yeah,
No,
a couple
Tom
hours.
Hudson.
Oh,
Sorry, Canada Hudson.
Yep. Okay, covenants for certain town-owned property.
Okay, this is my, from our town attorney. It is for the secretary.
Thank you.
Maybe I want to go down that way, I got to. So I asked her to look at the covenants that, Richard had drawn up. She responded, "This is really an unenforceable declaration because it is an agreement not between anyone and not supported by any consideration. Moreover, it is unnecessary declaration because when the Conservation Commission purchases property with conservation funds, that land must be managed in furtherance of the proposed RSA 36-A, which is to properly utilize and protect the natural resources and watershed resources of the town. Therefore, I do not recommend using it in the future."
Didn't you ever hear twisting words around a little bit?
I still say, and maybe the selectmen can pursue this, what happens in 50 years? Now,
That's
this
right.
latest property we bought, I did see it either on the assessment card or somewhere, that conservation, but there are other properties out there. I should go on the assessment cards and look at all the properties and see if it says conservation.
That's a good point.
All I could tell you is,
That would carry forward.
from, deeds I saw online, other towns are putting in the precise statutory language, that this is coming from conservation funds, and I don't see what the negative is.
I don't know.
Like you said, how are you gonna prove 50 years from now where the funds came
That's
from?
my point.
That's right. Well, maybe we need to find out what other towns are using for attorneys. Then we can request from the selectmen the right to go to another attorney.
Well, she's a very competent lawyer, I'm sure the town's
Yeah.
lawyer.
But I recall, and I
And
think
this company does a lot of towns, so I'm surprised there's a difference, but
I didn't get a chance to call the Bar Society, but I recall seminars that we went to in years past that they said, unless you have language in there, it's not protected.
Right.
So, the first place I'll look is all the assessment records and see what it says on the, for all
Yeah,
the
do that,
town-
please.
for all the conservation properties.
Well, I think it's two different, I'm not a real estate lawyer, but I think it's two different questions, whether, it's too late to go back and do something with the deeds we've already done versus going forward, can we put in at least language saying this comes from conservation funds? That, I think, is a no-brainer. I don't know why we wouldn't want
You
to.
wouldn't,
I don't know if we can fix the old deeds,
that's what
but,
I'm saying, you wouldn't correct the old deed, right? You'd have to record something new.
well, I'm saying, just going forward, I don't know why every deed couldn't simply recite that this is coming from statute, from
Because
conservation
I
funds
know-
pursuant to.
Well, they said, well, the issue with that is this, on this last property, the owner, or any property, the owner giving you the deed, selling you the property, would have to pass the language to you. They would have to put the easement on and pass it to that next deed.
Okay, all I know is other lawyers are doing it. I can understand the point she's making in terms of trying to go back and put covenants on a deed that's already passed.
Yes,
And I don't, I'm not gonna argue with her on that. I don't know that I necessarily agree with what she's saying, but she's a real estate lawyer and I'm not. But I don't see why, indeed you haven't cut yet, why you can't
Yeah.
simply recite the statutory language. That really has nothing, I don't think that has anything to do with who it's passing between or what. It's simply
Oh, just-
reciting where the funds came from.
Oh, into the new deed,
Yeah, I mean, any new deed, I don't know why you couldn't, but again,
or purchased via RSA 36A, something to that effect?
well, you just simply recite that this is the deed conveying land from X to the Conservation Commission of the town of Litchfield, and is hereby noted or whatever, that the funds for the purchase of this land come from conservation funds pursuant to RSA blah blah. I
Well,
don't,
I'll check the assessment records, and it's easy enough to get data put on those, and then I'll check all the deeds for all our properties and see that it references conservation. That should definitely be.
but I mean, it is a problem, once you've deeded out property, that's why I
Right,
said,
yeah.
you may have to go back and get a corrected deed,
Right.
for example, from the Smiths, because once you deed property, it's kind of hard to go back and, put restrictions on the land, because the parties aren't involved in the transaction anymore. It's just now us trying to do it unilaterally, sort of, without the Smiths being involved.
Was she saying that we can't put it in, or that she recommends we don't?
She's saying, I do not recommend using it in the future.
Okay, so she doesn't recommend it, she's not saying it can't be done.
Yeah, but the powers that be are not gonna want you to go against the town councils.
Well, I think she's talking about, she's not recommending the form, again, Can you present that to her as sort of a form that we could use in the future for like a deed or
Okay.
put in the covenant? Was she talking about she wouldn't recommend anything that we
Well,
ran
yes.
across, ran by, or
No,
just,
the center.
what's that?
The language.
She would not recommend the covenants that I said, those,
What about, she wouldn't recommend just reciting that this came from conservation funds pursuant to the
she
statute?
says it's an unnecessary declaration.
Well, but it's not damaging.
Yeah.
She doesn't say
Everything.
it's problematic.
Yeah.
I don't see why it's unnecessary.
Do you have a copy of that thing you sent to her on hand?
I got all. You can read mine right here if you want. Here's what we sent. Here, unless you got it. That's my copy there.
You can prove that the money came from, how do you do that when everyone's dead?
That's right.
You know, officials turn over in town every 2 or 3 years.
That's right.
Yeah, but the records still exist, though. The records
Well, I
are,
mean, who's gonna look for
But where?
Where?
And whose fingertips?
well, they should still exist in the town records.
But who's gonna pursue it? I mean, no type
Yeah.
of thing.
Well, I know, but they're still there. I'm
Yeah.
not disagreeing. It sounds like you should be able to do it. I'm not sure why she would say no,
Mhm.
unless whatever she was presented is what she has a concern with.
Yeah, maybe she didn't like that particular verbiage, yeah.
Now, here's the Smith deed that says, okay. For consideration paid, grant to the town of Litchfield a municipal corporation, acting by and through its conservation commission and with the approval of the board of selectmen. And then it spells out the piece of the tract of land.
Well, first she says it's an unenforceable declaration, then she goes on to say it's an unnecessary.
She says it's unnecessary because the Concom purchases with conservation funds. That land must be managed in furtherance of the purposes of RSA 36-A.
Well, what this deed says, the town acting through its conservation commission. So then somebody, that should raise a red flag that it was brought to conservation, but I don't know what the other deeds to the property.
Right,
other
exactly.
property deeds say, so I'll check that and see.
And like you said, check the tax cards and
Yeah,
see how they're written. Because again, as you're saying, 50 years from now, who knows what, who and how.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Parker Park, Brickyard Brook, spring repairs possible by county community service workers.
Okay, this again was, the road agent thought that we should put $2,000 in our budget. I talked to Jason about it, he said, how about $1,000 to get the county community service workers or the prisoners,
Mhm.
down at Brickyard Brook. Then I got to thinking about, wait a minute, Brickyard Brook isn't the conservation commission
No.
to take care of. Why are we putting money in our budget? But, I think it's really recreation. It was deeded to the town by the Parkers years and years and years ago. I always understood that it was recreation, but I don't think they've ever been down there.
I don't think so.
Well, whether it's in your budget or in the town's budget, doesn't really matter, right? As long as it's captured someplace.
Right, well, we're gonna have to go for an amendment at deliberative session.
Mhm.
So,
To add that back in, or?
Yeah, to add,
well,
yeah.
they took this $750 out for maintenance, so we already have up here $250 for the gate at Moore's Falls, and then Jason said put in $1,000 here
Okay.
For Parker Park.
for
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
prisoners, because now you have to pay them $1,000 a week.
Right.
Not them, but the
Yeah,
county.
the county, right?
Yep.
And that's good value. We've discussed that over the years when I was on the Board of
Yeah,
Selectmen.
it is good.
No, we get a lot of value out of them.
Yeah.
So,
So probably need a motion, and I don't know what else we need to put in for,
We'll do that under the
repairs, because we had nothing for repairs.
we'll do that under the financial status,
Okay.
the budget items. Sidewalk December 19th, Fishing Game, River Access, Jefferson parcel.
I went down there December 19th with a geologist from Fish and Game. He was charged to take a look at it on the Jefferson piece to see what the access looked like. He said they would look at it for motorboat access, and I'm thinking, you can only go down as far as Broadview and up as far as Moore's Falls. I mean, he'll be able to see that on aerial maps. They would widen it out a little bit, and I said, I know Fish and Game has no money, and he says, no, we're working in a deficit. So if we ever see it in my lifetime, I'll be amazed. Any kind of ramp there. But I did have to call Rich Cook at Fish and Game, who I knew from years back at Audubon, and he's our contact. 'Cause this guy just was coming down to look at it. I guess they were having a meeting on access committee, and, I forgot to give him a call, see what happened.
Well, what would it take to make it accessible?
They would, if this came to be, they would subdivide off the barn, Jefferson's that gray barn, Westview, and there's a wet piece
Yep.
parallel to the road,
Mhm.
subdivide that off. Then have a parking area at the top of the hill, and he said they would widen that out towards the 3A, like where the ramp is. They'd widen that out and put a retaining wall there, so that you could get a trailer down in there.
How much money would they be talking about? It could be,
I don't think he has any idea.
but it can't be that much money.
Well, first they've gotta buy the parcel.
I was gonna say, first it has to be purchased,
Oh.
because that's Jefferson's property, not the
Okay.
state's property, it's abutting the state's property.
But I told them that ramp has been there probably 15 or probably 20 years. and
30.
It hasn't washed out.
30 years.
And, he did say wildlife would be probably the lead agency. I said, well, that's good, because they're putting the bunnies next door and it's eagle habitat.
Right,
Right.
we gotta feed the eagles.
Eagles are gonna eat the bunnies.
I think it's a great system.
Circle of life.
Don't get them first. Circle of life, yeah.
My backyard, turkeys, cats, dogs.
So he said, he was looking at it, but my contact should be Rich Cook at Fish and Game, and go from there. At least they came down and looked at it.
That's good, at least they did that, you're right. Winterfest, February 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay, Keith, actually had a call from Cheryl, I forget her last name. She wants to know if the commission wants to do snowshoeing and ice fishing again on that Sunday, I think it's the 15th.
They guarantee snow and ice.
For ice fishing again?
I mean, I don't have any equipment.
Well, didn't Fish
But-
and Game came last
yeah.
year?
Right, and they
And-
had all the equipment.
Right, and then someone came from Bass Pro Shop
Right.
and.
Yes.
And I saw Keith today, and he said, I think they're gonna contact Bass Pro Shop again, and one of the managers from there does live in town.
Oh, okay. I'll contact Fish and Game and see
Okay.
if we can have someone come out.
'Cause that helps.
EMS is probably not bringing as many snowshoes, but she was gonna check on that.
Do you need ice fishing equipment? I have all kinds of ice fishing equipment.
Well, I mean, like, I don't have an auger to drill holes for,
Yeah, I don't have that, but I have all the traps and everything. I did it twice, and
I love it, but I'll see.
I used to love it. I
I'll
haven't
keep
done it
that
for
in
years.
mind in case Fish and Game doesn't come. Because you're gonna do it too, right?
The only reason
yeah.
With me, I mean.
Do too.
It's Michelle's like, oh no.
And they'll go out the day before,
the last 2 days.
or Friday,
Why do you pick the
before the event,
coldest
it's got ice.
Too bad-
Yeah, okay.
Too bad
the most
we
exciting thing
couldn't
was it
rent
was a bird that landed on the ice.
an
and everybody was
automatic ice
chasing.
auger or something, one of those
Yeah.
electric ice augers.
Who ordered it last year?
Fish and Game.
Fishing game,
Fishing
but they
game.
were really late.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But, yeah, and they were the ones with the auger, that's right,
And they're
too.
the ones that fell in.
Fish and
No, I
game?
thought the kid fell in.
No, a guy
No,
fell
a
in.
guy
but-
fell in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by
Really?
the spring.
What's the matter with the,
Yeah, the old,
Well, if I
Swedish
buy
temple
one
or
between
whatever.
now and then, we can use it, but.
No guarantee.
but if you need equipment, I'm more than be happy to let you use what I have.
Okay.
as long as you don't have to help, right?
And
Yeah.
what about snowshoeing? I think I did snowshoeing.
Yeah, you and
And Richard, right?
Glenn did
Did you do
snowshoeing.
snowshoeing?
And Richard, yeah.
15th, okay, I'll tell them when.
But they want to do it around their pond. They don't, we had suggested maybe doing it down in Moore's Falls, but they don't want to do that?
I think it would be a little more interesting in Moore's Falls.
Yeah, I did too, and plus it would expose that piece of
Yeah.
property.
I'll ask them about that.
I forgot what the reason was they gave last year.
What's that?
There was a reason they gave last year why they didn't want to do
I
it.
think they wanted everything,
In one spot?
yeah, centered in the same
I
area.
think so.
Well, there's a set of power lines over there, maybe they could go down the power lines,
Hmm.
Yeah, that'd be frozen.
if we have any snow.
Mhm.
Yeah, by then.
Tomorrow morning. They're
Yeah,
gonna cancel school again, it's gonna snow.
A dusting.
A dusting, yeah.
You have to do traffic accidents.
Rainfall report.
Oh. This was interesting. We had 6.2 inches of liquid, actually it's snow and rain
Yeah,
melted,
combination.
6.20 inches. The average for the month is actually 3.87.
So we almost doubled it, we did
Yeah.
double it. yeah.
And we had 2.5 inches of snow for the month.
Is that
The sum.
6 plus the 2, or
No,
6
that's,
altogether?
no,
Included.
You take the snow and you have to melt it.
you melt it down.
And
mhm.
then this is what liquid precipitation.
What does that translate to roughly? Like an inch of snow, what's that?
Well, it depends on the temperature.
The temperature and the consistency, if the snow is dry or
The
wet.
average is like 11 inches per 1 inch of rain.
Right, but that stuff we had Sunday with that,
Yeah,
yeah, that was like,
Oh, that was
an inch of
terrible.
rain and about an inch of snow.
yeah.
Yeah,
But according to this website, it said the average snowfall for the month of December is 13.51 inches.
Where, on Amazon?
Yeah, I went for the state of New Hampshire, town of Litchfield, and that's what it gave me.
That's what they gave you.
I said, well, I guess we're got to run into the deficit on that one.
that's it, so, we're short. Yeah, thank you so much for keeping up with that. Yeah, thanks for the records. Emerald Ash Borer Workshop, Friday, January 30th, 1 to 4
Yeah, I signed up
Concord.
for that in Concord.
I would like to go to that myself.
I would too, I just don't know for sure yet.
But I don't know if I can.
Now, I just read that, what is it, winter ash has the red berries? What is it? I can't remember now. Anyway, that's not an ash tree that has the red berries.
Okay.
That's not ash, so
That's a bush.
it's different
Mhm.
stuff. But I'm sure they will tell us. So that's in Concord from 1 to 4 on the 30th, free of charge.
It was interesting to look at the map as to where that's concentrated in the state. And it seems though, like up around in Loudon and all of that, there seem to be, they've had a report of it up in there.
Well, I think Milford too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Milford, but there was a big concentration up around
Oh, here it is.
Loudon, which you
Well,
kind
know
of,
why that is.
because of the
The
campers.
firewood, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, look, yeah.
When they head up to the racetrack.
They brought their wood in with them and they brought the bugs in with them.
Oh, and there's even a campground up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Bow up to Concord is a big,
I mean, people come from all over the country to go to that.
Oh, yeah, right.
you know, so they don't want you to
100,000 plus.
firewood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why, you know, yeah.
So, yeah, that's that.
So how long do they have until you can sign up for this? Any idea?
Deadline.
I don't know, I think you can, I just got another notice on it, but I think you can sign up. It's up at the Forest Society, you know where that is, that's at 17?
No idea. But I mean, if we all
I
want to
think-
go,
Yeah.
probably carpool.
Yeah, I think, probably till a week before, which is coming up.
I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, I'll let you know.
Okay, budget. As we just discussed a few minutes ago. Now, what do we need to put in the budget for?
Okay, so far, 1,000 for cleanup at Parker Park, and 250 for the gate and Moore's Falls, and something else. Oh, gravel at Moore's Falls. Jack said he'll spread it if we buy the gravel, because we have a big dip up there in the parking lot. I think that was gonna be about $200.
Wasn't there something about putting the 750 back in, or is that being
Well,
considered?
we're already over 750 now,
Okay,
we're up to 14.
I was gonna add the 750
So,
too.
do you want a separate motion for each one, or do you want just a total?
No.
I think we'll just,
Combined,
except we'll take it as a, I think we probably put what'd you say for gravel?
200,
200, I just put 250 to round off the numbers,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah, that's good,
So you want $1,500?
yeah.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, I would.
I move that we appropriate,
No, we have to,
We request
we request at the deliberative
at the
session.
deliberative session. We try to appropriate, if we can get the town to approve it.
I move that we request $1,500 from the, is it Budget Committee?
Well, it'll be
The-
the deliberative session.
yeah, the
to amend
deliberative
the
session.
Conservation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
$1,500. There a second?
Oh, okay.
Moved and seconded. All in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Unanimous.
So Tom, who will be making the request?
What's that?
Who will be making the request at deliberative?
I'll do it
Joe Will.
I'm more
From the floor or, yeah, from the floor,
on the
right?
floor, yeah.
Okay.
Type it up.
What I
So
would,
do I have to, I don't have to amend the total budget, do I just amend my budget?
No,
No, just add it to the bottom line with justification. You can ask Jason around the criteria, but I would also suggest Jason maybe have a slide that says, here's why we're doing it. This is
Right.
To help you defend it.
Yeah.
But, I think the way to do it is just amend the bottom line.
Mhm.
And saying, this is what reason why I'm
And
asking.
here's the reasons,
But I'm
here's the
just
numbers.
adding that to the bottom line, or I don't have to, they can add it up, I can just say 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you can ask Jason for the specifics, but I think he's gonna say just do it to the bottom line, and the Board of Selectmen will readjust it based on that.
Right. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, good. Now,
Oh, and that is January 31st,
31st.
10 a.m.
Campbell High School Auditorium, be there.
Right.
okay, now, let me see. Oh, yeah, we have never heard anything back from the Colby Trust or whatever on that, on the contract?
Nothing.
No.
Have you been down there since the snow, any snowmobiles or four-wheelers trying to get around it? or-
No, I don't think there was any snow yet when I was down
Yeah.
there, but the fence is still up. There really isn't enough snow now for a snowmobile, well, there might be after Sunday, last
Yeah.
Sunday.
Okay. New Hampshire Fish and Game, Cottontail Habitat, L-chip parcel across from Litchfield Library now. I have to say, that piece of land has not looked that good since Charlie was farming it. Back when it was farmed, it looked great, it was farmland. But at least now, it looks like it's a piece of land instead of a absolute disaster. You could actually,
Migratory birds liked it, it wasn't a total.
yeah, you said that, yeah. Did they file a petition to stop it, or? No.
The turkeys liked it, after it was cut.
But it looks, I mean, I was looking at it again tonight, coming by with the white birches standing out there in the field, and the guy did a phenomenal job. I mean, man,
That machine's called a brontosaurus.
a rhinoceros, okay.
It's called-
Yeah. Ricky Charbonneau bought one, he has one of them now. He was using it in his own yard there about a month ago, and they are impressive machines. I mean, they'll take up to an 8-inch tree and eat it, and just take it right down to
Oh, is that what they
two
use it on the
sticks.
power lines too?
Yeah, that's what they run the power lines with, yeah. But it's an awesome machine.
And they did send a letter, they sent a letter to the library and to the abutters that they were going to do that, and, they say the Litchfield site is one of several in a patchwork of properties intended to provide connectivity to cottontails moving over the landscape. Other nearby projects include those at Stonyfield Yogurt, Musquash Swamp Conservation Area, Morse Falls, Dumpling Brook Wildlife Management Area, and Power Line Corridor managed by PSNH. They also were doing something in the state forest, but that was habitat.
I thought there was supposed to be a cutting. Is there supposed to be a cutting in there?
Well, what's this, State Forest 20-acre wildlife habitat restoration? Is that part of that?
I thought it was, but, maybe not. Which one is, that's this letter. That was, we are planning a wildlife habitat restoration during the summer of 2015. Non-commercial habitat restoration, doesn't say for what. It was 20 acres in the state forest. So I don't know whose habitat. This one across from the library, they're saying the New England cottontail was once a common species in New Hampshire, but has lost much of its habitat to development. New Hampshire Fish and Game is part of a regional effort working diligently to keep the species from being listed on the federal endangered species list by creating and enhancing cottontail habitat through the species' existing range. And then they tell you where you can read more about it. The project is funded by a grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation and is being done in partnership with Hillsborough and Rockingham County Conservation District and the Natural Resources Conservation District. And they did get a shoreline permit. Then they say native shrubs will be planted in the spring to provide additional cover. So there goes your clear cut.
Well, when are they gonna bring the bunnies in?
I don't know, I think it's probably a secret.
Well, the Eagles will let
Eagles
us
will be
know.
waiting. They'll be watching for them.
So,
Okay.
are they just relying on the cottontail rabbits that are existing, or are they gonna
No.
bring some in?
Bring some in, yeah.
Okay, because I can't say as I've ever really seen any around.
Oh, and then I did run into the people that, she was talking to the brontosaurus guy, the same day I was meeting with this fishing game guy. They collected bunny poop from the area, and it turned out to be eastern cottontail, not New England cottontail.
What do they do,
How can
DNA
they
testing?
tell?
They did DNA testing,
Oh,
Oh.
it took a while to get it back, but it was eastern cottontail. No funny jokes.
Everybody's trying to think of when they can use and not be too bad. Well, somebody was telling me down in Nashua, where the old chemical plant used to be, there's an unbelievable amount of rabbits down there, but they said they're a very small variety. They only grow about yay big. And
On
they
the
said,
Sauhegan River there?
no, in the Merrimack River.
Over
They
by,
come-
over by where the
Grace Chemical. South Nashua.
South of,
Oh, that area.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's unbelievable, the amount of rabbits down that area. Yeah. A couple guys who fish the river were saying that, unbelievable. Small.
If they glow in the dark.
Okay, the minutes. Do we have copies by any chance?
Yes, we do.
I don't have
Your secretary's not, my computer's not working, your secretary's not working.
Everyone's got excuses,
I
right?
know, that's right.
Good job. Let me sign one last.
No, I wasn't here, so I can't vote on him anyway.
All right.
Oh, you got it, right?
Yeah, I wrote them up. Yeah, I did them right after the meeting.
That was, you know,
You need from the,
It's easier if you do them right away.
I
Which I
noticed
don't.
your memory goes.
Exactly. Like, what do I mean by that when I wrote that down?
On the non-public minutes. That's why you wanted me to, didn't we have a non-public session?
It's on there.
Yeah.
It's number 10.
Yep.
Well, that's minutes, I guess. Okay, that's just minutes.
Did we pay the $7,500 owed to the,
Yeah, we had just had to make the motion, it was already had been paid. We have a
Session last time? Guess not.
Did we hear any more on that wetland violation? On Hillcrest and off Hillcrest? Nothing.
guess it's all quiet.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We did, yeah.
Any questions on the minutes?
Well, I guess we had a non-public session last time, because there isn't one reflected in here. Number 10 is talking about the minutes, the non-public session in November.
The reason I remember is because we had to take, I don't know, we did some kind of a vote, because you said that we had to do that, because it was a non-public
Was it?
item.
Did we have one? No,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Yeah.
December?
Yeah, you requested I do,
Did you give me the minutes for that?
yeah.
Okay.
oops,
I think it was,
Secret. We can't find it. Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
now you remember?
Yeah.
So should we amend the December minutes to add maybe a 14?
Well, you don't put the non-public with this, they have to be separate.
We don't mention them at all, though?
If they're,
That we even had a non-public session?
well, we motion to go into non-public.
There's nothing about having a non-public session in December at all in here. I can see.
Right, there isn't any.
Oh, okay, so then we need, 14, a motion to go into.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the December minutes amended to include in item 14 that the commission went into a non-public session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain? Two abstentions?
Oh, no, I,
No, John,
John didn't.
oh,
abstain.
And me.
wake up,
She can't see you over there.
I'm half asleep.
Still early, come on.
Alternate.
oh, yeah,
Well, today, but he wasn't in December.
Right.
but he wouldn't be voting on this. Because we have a full board now.
Yeah, but I'm not
But
voting,
she's
well, I
not
abstained. Oh,
But you're here.
You abstained.
right, sorry,
Yeah, you're here.
I gotcha.
It's close,
I will.
it's close. Okay,
When it warms up, we'll.
we get through the minutes and stuff.
Things, yeah, we'll thaw out again.
Just imagine the meeting if we're all here 20 years from now.
Oh, my God.
What memory was that? Yeah, what memory was that? Yeah.
What conservation commission?
Yeah, right. Commissions, comments, and or other business. Non-public for RSA.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what it's.
Are we gonna?
You know what? We don't have to wait 20 years. It's already happened.
Are we gonna talk about the email you sent out today?
One email.
What email?
About the pipeline?
Oh, yeah, the pipeline, I have the pipeline right here, let's do that under other business. Maybe that was just left over from last meeting,
Oh, could be.
it could be, or it could be.
We'll
What
consider
was
it.
it, discuss land?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we're just gonna discuss land.
Yeah.
You did a. So you're gonna do the other thing first?
We'll
You want
do
to do the
that.
pipeline first, then we'll go into non-public? Well,
So, on this pipeline, I shouldn't laugh, but I have to. Did you see the news last night, the guy from Mason, his house is in the incineration zone?
incineration zone? Well, if they pay him enough, who cares? Pay me enough, you can incinerate mine.
I did get this from, somebody who lives in Litchfield next to where the pipeline will go. She has people in Mason, they had a big, huge meeting in Mason.
Yeah, I saw it on TV this morning. yeah.
Was that with these guys?
I don't know, it's the selectmen,
Yeah, I believe it was.
You think it was them? Yeah.
They've reached out to us as a board, the board, they're arranging meetings with us, but
Mhm.
Who,
the.
Gas people.
Owners?
Morgan Piper, yeah.
Mhm.
They're arranging a meeting with you?
They wanna come in and talk to us first, but we're still trying to figure out when.
Yeah.
And then is it a big meeting, it'll always be open to the public, but obviously is it a
Mhm.
big forum, do we gotta go someplace
Mm-hmm.
different, we don't know yet, right? It's more of an introductory meeting than it's anything else.
Mhm.
We've only gotten, the only communications we've had with them is pretty much what they've sent out to most of the public.
Mhm.
right, there hasn't been much coming out from them yet.
Is it a definite?
No,
No.
nothing's
Okay.
definite.
Nothing's ever definite, but.
Seabrook was, and then
Just something to get
the
us
committee is
rolling.
Yeah,
another.
exactly.
So
They'll have to be holding hearings and.
They are.
Well, if they ever
They're
get
holding
there.
a bunch of, they have, they actually called me on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Well, I personally think, as a former selectman, I think the smart thing to do would be the selectmen to meet with them, just the discussion before they
That's-
go anywhere, to
That was our
set, to
initial
set up a
discussion.
forum,
Sit
and then you
down,
set up a
they're gonna come in
forum.
and kind of lay out what they've been talking to us about via electronic stuff they've been sending to us, and then let's
Yeah.
figure out what's the right thing for the community and make sure we get the information
Yeah,
out there.
because we really don't have anything to just, enough information, I don't think, to discuss. We have this packet of stuff that Jason gave me from the Kinder Morgan company, their slideshow, and then there's this information I got from Mason, that recounts everything that, they say, and then the people put down why they think it's not a good idea, but,
Right.
we need the whole story, I think,
Yeah,
first.
and the town has a section on the website that actually has all electronic documentation we received and any communications we have and information, so it's, we're trying to get it out there as much as
As
possible.
much as possible.
On the town website, you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
If I may ask some probably really rudimentary, stupid questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the pipeline to go through Litchfield, does it require that people, as a town, vote
No.
for it, or just?
No.
No,
There's nothing, so we
No.
have to actively vote against it, or even that won't stop?
No,
You don't have.
just a public hearing, that's
Well,
all
I
you
mean,
have.
you could have a, couldn't
It's up
you
to
have
the
a
sta-
warrant
it's up-
article and
We wouldn't have any
No.
bearings, no
No, the
bearings on
states-
it.
the states
PUC is
will not.
ruled.
stay as total control?
Mhm.
but feedback that happens at the local level should bubble up to the state level and hopefully influence what they decide to do,
Right.
right? Hopefully.
Well, the utilities went through a lot of this before we were one of the reasons that we were, was the town of Litchfield, because when we were actually making them put up pretty little telephone buildings, and instead of the ugly little cement block buildings, we made them put a pretty facade, like on the front of Pearson Ave in Albuquerque and stuff. And so subsequently, the state laws were changed, it pretty much took the towns completely out of the loop, they have nothing to do with it anymore. The utilities like that could just come in and put in whatever they want, and that's basically it. I mean, you can have all the public hearings you want, you can put 300 people out here to bitch about it, and it doesn't matter, there's no bearings. I mean,
This is coming
It's like when they wanted to put the asphalt plant in town years ago. I mean, you wanted to see hearings, meetings, oh my
So is it
God.
a public utilities decision, public utilities commission?
Sure, exactly. I would assume it's
I think,
stated.
well, they're gonna be using the public utilities right away, so,
Right.
so I think that would take it under public utilities, I think. I mean, I'm not a lawyer.
Makes sense.
And,
Yeah.
and for me, the reason for them coming in and talking to the board is to help us understand what is the process.
Yeah, right,
Right.
that's right. That's my interpretation, yeah.
That's what I understand, is when do you have to be active if you're gonna be active? Or what can you do, and what do you have totally no control over, you know?
Right.
Well, from what I hear, that because this state is so anti-business, it was just like when they ran electric lines down the road 100 years ago.
Yeah,
Nobody
lucky they
wanted
got
it.
them,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm surprised some people in town don't vote to take it out, state vote to take out the power lines now. I mean,
John, you know how deep that pipe would be buried? It's not very deep, is it?
It's got below the frost line, right? So-
Yeah.
It's gonna be a 30-inch pipe,
Right.
so it's gonna be
Proposed.
at least 3.
yeah, 30 inches.
And that's one
That's
of the
true.
things Mason was upset about, because they would have to drill up there.
They talked about
We're all
ledge, I saw that in the news, they said about ledge. Well, not everywhere is sand, though, depending on where you're going.
Yeah, there's not
Yeah,
much in town.
pretty much that area, I think, where they are is sandy.
Oh, does the map show where they propose going through the town?
Parallel to Nessun
Yep.
crossed by Jody Frazier's land.
Okay,
Now, when they run this line through, will they be running auxiliary lines for?
to
for
furnish the
like
town with gas?
Gassing the,
So there is, that is part of the discussion, right? If you're gonna put it in, can we get a branch off to
Right.
feed like the schools and stuff like that? To bring some value to the town versus just have it come through
Yeah,
and not give
that's
us
right.
anything.
and personally, I think, rather than truck propane all over
Mhm.
the state and the town in a truck, that's more likely to get into an accident. I'd rather have a gas line that runs to my house.
That's right,
But we had this discussion, I mean, if they have a 30-inch pipe
yeah.
coming off there, they're gonna have a lot smaller pipes to feed the school or a house.
Well, that's what's been taught, this, how do you
Yeah.
do feeder pipes off of it to actually be able to incent the rest of the build out, right? Because none of the utilities will do a looking forward kind of build out. It has to
Right.
be paid for, and this is one way to get it into the town.
Well, like when Continental ran the gas line in from Manchester, I mean, that was just a service line, but then they ran that one in Hudson, from Hudson down into the West Road site. I mean, obviously not that, that magnitude, but, I mean, it was a giant step, because anyone that lived in that area can
It
pick
tie
up
off
gas
that.
service.
So there's a benefit to the gas company and the residents local to have
Right,
it done,
exactly.
so,
Now, is that line taxed? Is the
I
pipe
think-
itself
I think
taxed?
it is.
yeah,
If they have,
Who gets to, does the town get a revenue from it?
probably so we do it for telephone poles, yeah, I would assume so.
like
There
the
must
water,
be.
the water company's tax on their equipment that's in town.
Right.
I don't know
It's one of the
if
selling
it's
points.
It
that one of
is,
the
but
selling points?
I think it's one of the selling points, but I think there's also an argument that every time this does happen, they come back in abatement, right? So then they don't pay anything at the end of the day.
But we don't
Again.
pay attention to them, do we?
I don't,
Usually what ends up being the formula that most communities, I was told years ago when we were fighting this thing with the fire hydrants and so on, was that whatever the tax bill is what the hydrant rental is,
yeah,
Right, yeah.
Good
So it's a
point.
wash.
within $1.
yeah.
It's a wash.
They make sure that's here. You tax us, we'll,
So I don't know if there's really a
yeah.
revenue
Mhm.
source for the town. It
Right.
may look like that on paper, but
Mhm.
practicality, probably not. But again, that's the whole reason why we want to talk.
Right, yeah, and I think, that's certainly the right thing to do. But it's a long way before we could ever get to Litchfield. There's a lot of towns it's gotta go through. They're gonna have to burn the crosses, and they're gonna have to fight them tooth and nail, and,
Well, they moved it up here from Massachusetts because in Massachusetts, they weren't in a power line right away. They were just going on fresh land, so then they moved it up here so they could get in a power line right away.
Mhm.
Not disturb more area.
which in a lot of ways makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's,
Right, leverage
Yeah.
that right away, it's already there.
yeah, and they're gonna be keeping it clear cut, relatively speaking, on a regular basis, so. When they put that power plant in Londonderry, they ran that gas line from somewhere down in Mass, right up through Pelham and Windham and Hudson, and,
Didn't they take that up the power lines?
no,
Cross-
maybe some spots, but no.
There's an existing right-of-way there. They already have a gas line that runs through there, up in
But-
Londonderry.
Yeah.
They ran that one to the power plant, though. That's the one they ran through to the power plant, because I remember meeting with them, and I says, "Well, you give us the approval now," and I says, "I'll have Continental start on one end and Duchamp start on the other, we'll have the trench dug in a week." Yeah. That's when we wanted to get it in Litchfield,
Yeah.
but then the company went bankrupt, so we didn't get it in Litchfield. We were glad we didn't get it in Litchfield. Yeah. So, are we ready to go into non-public,
I don't.
or do you have anything else, Joan?
need to.
Well, yeah, we need to discuss that property.
Everybody had a conversation with Mr. Jefferson, we're gonna talk about that, or?
Yes, that'd be non-public.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, Entertain a motion to go into non-public.
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna consider that a roll call. Okay, and we'll only be coming out to adjourn. So.